The Mexican clown who killed cartel members and filmed it. Do you like clowns? Or do they scare you? Clowns are characters that are supposed to make us laugh with their jokes and tricks, but they can also be a source of terror for many people. The fear of clowns is called coulrophobia and is believed to be due to a combination of their over-the-top makeup, flashy costumes, and unpredictable behavior. Throughout history, there have been cases of murderers who have dressed up as clowns to commit their crimes. One of the most famous was John Wayne Gacy, an American who between 1972 and 1978 killed 33 young people and buried them in the basement of his house. Gacy used to perform as a clown at children's parties and charity events under the name Pogo. But it's not just in America that there are killer clowns. In Mexico, there is also a group of hit men who hide behind clown masks to sow terror. This is the CJNG, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most violent and powerful criminal organizations in the country. Welcome to the Point of View, the place where the most shocking crime stories come to life. Where mystery and history come together to tell us unique events of the most famous outlaws. Today we present to you the story of the killer clowns of the CJNG. Do not forget to leave your like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. Let's get started. The CJNG is led by Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, alias El Mencho, a former police officer who became the most wanted drug trafficker by the Mexican and U.S. authorities. This deranged cartel operates in at least 28 states of Mexico and has a presence in several countries in America, Europe, and Asia. To expand its dominance, the CJNG has waged bloody battles against other rival cartels, such as the Gulf Cartel, the Northeast Cartel, or the Familia Michoacana. To do this, it has recruited thousands of hitmen, trained and armed with assault rifles, grenades, and rocket launchers. It all started with a despicable individual named Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho. Born in July 1966, he grew up in a poor family dedicated to growing avocados. In the 1980s, he immigrated to the United States illegally, but his repeated petty crimes earned him deportation. Desensitized by violence and willing to do anything for a quick buck, he joined the Milenio Cartel. However, the Milenio Cartel gradually weakened and fragmented into small factions. It was then that, in 2009, El Mencho decided to found his own cartel. At first, he called himself Los Torcidos, a name that was more appropriate than the Jalisco Nueva Generation Cartel. El Mencho was inspired by the military structure of the Zetas cartel, but took things to the next level. He armed thousands of violent men with large-caliber rifles and top-grade military equipment. Images of his convoys began circulating in July, showing these hitmen calling themselves El Grupo de Elite, swearing allegiance to El Mencho. They are equipped with assault rifles with attached grenade launchers, heavy machine guns and, in particular, a favorite weapon of the CJNG, the fearsome .50 caliber sniper rifle. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel rules through fear, kidnapping, torturing and murdering anyone who gets in their way. Their victims may be members of rival cartels, police officers, or even innocent civilians. For them, human life is worthless. Their only concern is to make a profit and spread their message of absolute dominance. El Mencho not only relies on military weapons and an organized structure to carry out his criminal activities. It also recruits individuals considered the worst in Mexico. One of them is Fabian Urbino Morales, alias El Payaso. Although he may seem strange, Morales used to work as a clown in a circus when he was younger. However, he abandoned his clown outfit to take up guns, machetes, and knives, but kept the mask that had become his trademark. Fabian Morales began his criminal career working for the Cartel de los Metros, a minor faction of the Gulf Cartel that operated on the Texas border. Quickly, Morales rose through the ranks within the Metros and brought a new level of psychopathic violence to the gang. Both he and his minions wore the same terrifying clown mask, but the group didn't earn their fame solely on their looks. They had extremely gruesome methods to deal with their rivals, such as putting them in gasoline drums and setting them on fire. El Mencho and his people carefully watched the way Morales and his gang got rid of his enemies, considering this as proof that Morales would be a valuable ally. The Jalisco New Generation cartel quickly grew to become the second largest cartel in Mexico, surpassed only by the notorious Sinaloa cartel led by El Chapo and El Mayo. Of course, it is impossible to run such a large cartel without help. That is why El Mencho dedicated himself to recruiting smaller cartel leaders to act as administrators in the different areas where the CJNG operated. Slowly but effectively, they managed to recruit the entire Metro cartel and integrated it into their organization. Fabian Morales became the trusted man of El Mencho, who even encouraged Morales and his henchmen to continue using the terrifying clown masks. After all, the ultimate goal of the Jalisco New Generation cartel is to sow as much horror as possible. The use of clown masks by Morales and his gang, while creepy, is just one example of the brutality and cynicism with which these criminal groups operate. Through their grotesque appearance and sinister performance, these clowns represent the darker side of the violence unleashed by drug trafficking in Mexico. The sinister Fabian Morales rose rapidly within the criminal structure of the CJNG, led by Miguel Hernandez, known as LM2. Morales became one of the organization's commanders in one of the most dangerous regions. Fueled by the influence of Mencho, it wasn't long before Morales became one of the worst reality freaks in Mexico during the 2010s. But rampant violence was not the only problem. Cartel members began documenting their brutal acts and spreading them online, sending a chilling message to their rivals and anyone who dared to confront them. One video in particular, known as "I Want Water," became famous. Although it has not been confirmed if it was carried out by Fabian Morales or by one of his henchmen, it shows CJNG clowns kidnapping a member of a rival cartel, whose identity is still unknown. In the grisly 30 seconds of footage, a man is seen on the verge of death, his face disfigured after being cruelly tortured by evil clowns, who ripped the skin off his face and other parts of his body. But most disturbing is the way they taunt his victim, laughing at his pain and asking if he wants water, despite his obvious agony. This scene is enough to torment even the bravest and bring on nightmares and anxiety. It is difficult to understand how a group of people can inflict such suffering on another human being, being so close to him and laughing at his misfortune. What kind of traumatic experiences did these clowns go through before turning into psychopathic monsters? No animal would act this way, since animals kill to survive or feed themselves, but the CJNG and its evil soldiers kill for pleasure. What are the police doing in response to these sinister clowns? How is it possible that these evil clowns drive their cars and display their guns in broad daylight, and blatantly post videos of torture and death, without already being behind bars? Fortunately, Fabian Morales was detained by the authorities in 2019. The CJNG, for its part, orchestrated a massive ambush against the police, claiming the lives of 13 agents. While it was not the first time the CJNG had attacked law enforcement and left a trail of death in its wake, this time the police used the ambush as an opportunity to launch their own operation. Thus, in January 2020, the Michoacan police carried out an extensive operation against the CJNG. Finally, they managed to catch the clown and some of his henchmen. Interestingly, this was the same covert operation that ended the life of La Catrina. La Catrina joined the Jalisco New Generation cartel in 2017, when she was just 19 years old. But her bloodlust was so extreme that she soon became a leading driver of attacks on the police. In fact, it was she who ordered the October ambush. The Michoacan police even had a voice recording of her giving her orders. However, she would not get out of this alive. La Catrina was wounded in the jugular and died in the helicopter on the way to the hospital. But the same cannot be said of Fabian Morales and his fellow clowns. They were arrested and taken to prison. When the news of his capture spread throughout Mexico, it became clear that the clown had another brother within the Jalisco Nueva Generation cartel. This man calls himself El Jaguar, and before the clown joined the organization, he was already a member of the CJNG and a former military man. Perhaps it was El Jaguar who convinced the clown to join the cartel, or perhaps they both grew up in a violent world where death is normalized and the general mentality is murderous. However, this does not justify or explain the atrocities they ended up committing. It is important to highlight another sad aspect of this story. Today, the Jalisco Nueva Generation cartel is at the height of its power. It is estimated that they are responsible for about a third of the drug traffic that enters the United States, either by land or by sea. Being a terrorist organization, the war between the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco Nueva Generation cartel continues. Nonetheless, the authorities are determined to end their reign of terror, as they have been wreaking havoc in Mexico for more than a decade. Outlaws, this has been all for today's report. As always, we hope you enjoyed the video. Join us at El Punto de Mira to discover more powerful stories like this one. Do not forget to like, subscribe and comment your opinion. Until next time. The Mexican clown who killed cartel members and filmed it. Do you like clowns? Or do they scare you? Clowns are characters that are supposed to make us laugh with their jokes and tricks, but they can also be a source of terror for many people. The fear of clowns is called coulrophobia and is believed to be due to a combination of their over-the-top makeup, flashy costumes, and unpredictable behavior. Throughout history, there have been cases of murderers who have dressed up as clowns to commit their crimes. One of the most famous was John Wayne Gacy, John Wayne Gacy, an American who between 1972 and 1978 killed 33 young people and buried them in the basement of his house. Gacy used to perform as a clown at children's parties